Hi guys, I'm back and I am doing my 2013 skincare edit this time round, so I hope you're geared up for that and let's just get started. So I thought I'd choose as my first category face because as beauty bloggers we like to keep our skin fairly intact and good to be able to use all the products that we slather on it on a daily basis. So I thought I'd start off with a cleanser. And the cleanser I've picked is a cleanser that I just have been using on and off for the past year. And it's Pie, and it's the Camellia and Rose Gentle Hydrating Cleanser. I don't know what I can say about this. I've talked about this quite a lot recently. And it's not the smell, because I'm really not a rose person, but it's actually not that rose scented, so it's not so bad if you don't like rose, but it's so gentle and it's so good for really sensitive skin. Like, I get really itchy, irritated skin a lot when I put my foundation on and any other kind of makeup. It's a nightmare. I almost think I'm allergic to makeup, but this really helps cool the irritants in my skin. It removes, I do a double cleanse with this, to be honest. I take off the top layer of makeup and then I go back in and I scrub out any kind of impurities and dirt that are left under the surface, and my skin feels so clean, smooth, hydrated after this. And you know, the best thing is it's vegan, they don't test on animals, and it's just got loads of little good natural things in here. It's fantastic. Facial scrub or facial exfoliator, I guess. I figured that I would pick my Clinique 7-Day Scrub Cream for this because I have a few exfoliators but I don't use them very much. I find that if you do a good job with your cleanser and you scrub it off with a flannel, that will take off a good layer of the top layer of skin and leave you refreshed and revitalized and your skin looking a lot better and less dull and a bit more effervescent. But sometimes there's just that bit of skin that won't budge, and no matter what you do, you try and be nice to it, sometimes you just gotta get out the heavy duty stuff and give it a good scrub. So it is the Clinique stuff for me. The beads are a bit harder than in some of the formulas. It really does, I find, take off that top layer with very little scrubbing involved. There is just a kind of gentle buffing motion with a flannel and my skin looks brand new. Sometimes the skin can be a little red afterwards, but I think if you are scrubbing at the skin with any kind of product, you're gonna get some kind of redness going on there. I figured I'd better give a mention to a makeup remover because as much as we'd all like to say that we just go in with our cleanser and remove our eye makeup, that's not necessarily always the case. And for someone that wears contact lenses, I'm so aware of being very sensitive with my eyes and try not to get anything in them, which is why I get slightly panicky when people are like, oh, you can use this cleanser to remove your eye makeup. And I'm thinking, no. So I picked the Roche-Posay Physiological eye makeup remover, which I'm nearly out of. It is a fantastic little thing. I completely coat my cotton wool pads with it and just remove my eye makeup. I hold them on for a couple of seconds and it's gone, essentially. It's fantastic. And because it's paraben free and is good for sensitive eyes, it's fantastic for people who do wear contact lenses like myself. Gotta give a mention to a toner here. So once you've taken off your makeup, you've cleansed, you've double cleansed, you've maybe exfoliated, it depends on what you're doing that day. A lot of the time you're gonna reach for a toner next. It just kind of revitalizes the skin, it helps with your pores, and it gives a good base for your moisturiser as well, for your moisturiser to do its job. And I find that the Origins Make a Difference Skin Rejuvenating Treatment Lotion is fantastic. It doesn't really look like I've used a lot of this, but I use this on a nightly basis essentially, but you don't need a lot. It smells heavenly. Oh, it's so citrusy and fresh, and I tend to, instead of getting out any kind of cotton buds or cotton pads with this, I find it's almost a waste. I just tip it over onto my fingers and pat it in with my own fingers. It makes life a lot easier, and it means that you're not using up so many of those precious little cotton pads which you use to remove eye makeup and varying other things. But I don't know what it is about this. There's I wouldn't say that I've noticed maybe a notable difference in my skin, because I started using this alongside a few other products, so I don't know whether it's a mixture of them or one. But my skin just feels really nice and smooth. There's a lovely texture to my skin again. Sometimes I get this issue with a lot of kind of bumpiness to the skin, especially around the chin area, which is not noticeable, but I can feel it. And I think that has a big impact on how you feel as a person as well. If you don't feel comfortable in your own skin, you're not going to be the best person you can be. And this seems to have calmed things down. There are times when I'll use this and then not even bother with a moisturiser afterwards, because I actually feel that this helps to moisturise too. I don't know if that is the case, but that's how it feels to me. So this had to be my toner of 2013. Then there's the category of moisturiser. Now, moisturiser is quite difficult because I know a lot of people use a different moisturiser for day as they do for night. So I figured I would kick mine into a day and night category as well, because I do find that I use different products for the night and for the day, because I feel that for night especially, you need something a bit more nourishing and that's going to do its job all the way through those 8 hours of sleep that they say you should be getting, but who gets 8 hours of sleep anymore? But anyway, I'm going to move on to the day cream, and I picked the Roche-Posay. I can't say this, I think it's Toleraine Ultra, Toleraine, I think. Anyway, it looks really small actually, and it's very odd packaging for a moisturiser, but you need I use about 2 pumps to cover the whole face. I use this with a serum quite a lot as well, which I haven't actually put in my 2013 edit, and thinking about it now, I probably should, but I find that I can skip serum a lot of the time if I've got a decent moisturiser, and this is a decent moisturiser. This is actually fantastic for people with sensitive skin, and it helps kind of calm any irritating or any irritants on the skin. And like I mentioned earlier, I have this whole problem with really itchy, probably slightly allergic skin. I find I put this on and it helps just calm it, at least for the initial couple of hours. So this is my go-to for daytime moisturising. And then when it comes to nighttime moisturising, I pick up a completely different one. And again, this is an Origins product, and it's the Make a Difference Night Gel Cream. I think there's the very smallest amount left in here. It's ridiculous. But everything by Origins just smells absolutely heavenly. It's such a weird consistency because it's not a cream and it's not quite just a gel. It sinks into the skin really quickly, but then I feel like it sits on top of the skin, but it's not really sitting on top of the skin, because as you sleep, that's going back into the skin, and when you wake up in the morning, the skin's lovely, soft, supple. It's fantastic. I don't really know whether this would make much of a difference compared with the daytime version if I used it at night, but I just find that this helps keep me moisturised throughout the entire evening, rather than just that initial time when you're taking your makeup off, when you're cleansing and then putting the moisture back in. This helps just give it that little bit extra to carry you through until the morning. Fairly new territory now is facial oil, so I figured I would put a facial oil into my 2013 edit, but I'm very picky about my facial oils. I've been using the Balance Me facial oil, which I got in a beauty box, which has been fantastic, and I've used it pretty much every single night before I go to sleep. I don't use it in the mornings because there's something about oils and makeup that makes me feel a bit funny, so I don't use that. But I haven't given it enough of a chance yet, so I picked the Suki Face Pure Facial Moisture Oil. It has carrot and evening primrose in. It's a lovely little bottle, it's got a pipette and stuff, and it does have a remarkably fantastic difference on my skin from before I used it. But I've got this real issue with facial oils and just how weird it feels massaging an oil into the skin, especially because there's this real kind of I suppose, friction to when you rub it in, is it just doesn't almost want you to be rubbing it in, and it feels like you have to completely slather your face in oil, otherwise you're missing key areas that are not getting the oil. It's really odd. I mean, if anyone uses facial oils and they've got one that doesn't feel that weird, you leave it in the comments below please, because I've yet to find one, but there is a remarkable difference when using a facial oil, so I will continue to use one. We can't talk about the face and then not talk about using an eye cream. I never really used to think that eye creams were such a massive part of my nightly or even morning skincare routine, but it has become essential for someone with dry skin, especially around the eye area. It's so important to give them the proper care that they need, and it also stops any really horrendous dark circles and bags to a degree. It just helps your concealer stay on a lot better as well. I haven't really experimented too much with eye creams because I found one that worked for me, and it's quite difficult once you find one that works for you to try and branch out of that little area. But I've been loving the, I think you say it Avene? I think you say it Avene, I'm not quite sure, but it's the Soothing Eye Contour Cream. Lovely little thing. You only use about a rice-sized bit for each eye, dab it in, kind of smooth it over, and you're done. Just make sure not to put it too close to the eye because it's a really sensitive area, and you've got to be careful that you're not doing anything that's going to harm any part of your eye, because once you do, that's it. Essentially, you've got to be careful. If you get any of this in your eye, I would suggest giving it a wash with an eye wash. But this is really good for sensitive eyes. Again, being a contact lens wearer, I'm always on the lookout for things for sensitive eyes because it does make your eyes a bit more prone to anything really strong. Even just highly fragranced moisturisers can set my eyes off. So this is fantastic. I find that my concealer glides on like a dream after I use this. So it is pretty much the only eye cream that is in my collection. But if something works, why change it? I thought I would pick a face mask because I find every time I have a bath, one of my favourite things to do after I've put my conditioner in is to put on a really lovely face mask and just relax. Candles, probably Netflix on in the background with some really terrible program, but the best thing about it is that face mask. And I was toying with the idea of picking another Origins mask because it is fantastic, but I figured actually this little beauty is amazing, and it's the Good Things 5-minute facial face mask, which has avocado and goji berry in it, and oh my god, it smells heavenly. It is amazing. It looks like clay as well when you take it out. It's a really heavy clay-like consistency. But you don't need very much at all because rubbing it all over your face, it will be completely coated in a couple of seconds. But this stuff's free from parabens, sodium, loads of other things that no one can pronounce, but animal ingredients and mineral oils and all that kind of good stuff. So, or bad stuff as it were. But this, it just really helps to bring out any of that horrible gunk that you can't seem to get out with your cleanser. Even after a double cleanse, sometimes you just can't get down far enough. And this, after 5 minutes of leaving it on and just rubbing it off with a warm towel, it feels like my pores close back up again afterwards, and my skin just looks so hydrated and youthful. It's fantastic. And I mean, I think this is like a couple of quid. I got it from Sainsbury's. I'm sure you can get it from other places as well, but I would quite like to see some more of these now. They're really good. I don't really get spots too much, but I thought I would talk about an acne treatment or spot treatment that I use if I do get them. So I picked, of course, another Origins product, and it is the Super Spot Remover. It looks ridiculously small. It's just stupid packaging, but it really works. It kind of stings when it's going on, but I almost think that when it stings, it's doing its job, so I don't question it. It just helps to dry the spots out. It's great for working on spots that haven't completely developed yet, that are still in those first stages before they show any kind of head. I'll put those on, but it's also equally good for spots that have developed. And I just pop a little bit of this on with a cotton bud before I go to sleep at night. Make sure to wash it off very well in the morning, because you'll find that it will have crusted, but you will look at the acne or the spots and see that there is a reduced inflammation on those, or they will have completely gone depending on what stage they're at. I think this just helps move things along a little bit quicker. It's a fantastic little product, and as you can see, you just hardly use any of it. Even though it is in a tiny ridiculous bottle, you don't use a lot, so it's definitely worth the money. I think it's £11, but I've had this for a very, very long time, and it doesn't look like I will be running out of it anytime soon. We're moving on to the body now, guys, and I figured the first thing I'd talk about is a decent body wash. And I didn't actually get this that long ago, but I fell in love with it, and it's the Korres Cedar Shower Gel. I got it from TK Maxx, or TJ Maxx if you're in America, and it's an amalgam of earthy and forest tones. It just smells wheaty and just like outdoors brought inside. Essentially, it feels like you're covering yourself in tree sap, I guess. I mean, not feels, but it's that smell. It's that really outdoorsy smell, and I love sandalwood and really kind of woody, earthy smells, so this was just right up my alley. I wasn't actually going to buy it, and then I just thought, what the hell, go for it. It sounds like exactly your kind of fragrance, and it really is. I'm going to be so upset when this runs out. But, I mean, you can't really see, obviously, in the bottle, but it comes out this weird kind of horrible brown colour, but the smell and the payoff from the body wash itself is fantastic. It lathers up really nicely, and I will be getting more of these to add to my collection, especially if they're in that kind of really woody, earthy tone. They're brilliant. We've spoken about a facial exfoliator or scrub, but now we're going to talk about a body scrub. And this scrub has been around since when I first started my blog, really, and I get it out on occasion when I'm feeling particularly dull and lifeless in my skin, and it really helps to perk things back up. And it's the Soap and Glory The Breakfast Scrub. It is a fantastic scrub which smells like breakfast. You can't not smell it when you open it up. I mean, I've used a good proportion of this. I literally take out handfuls now because I'm trying to get through it. I feel like I'm not using enough, but a little goes a long way with this stuff. And it leaves a slight film on the skin afterwards, which is really hydrating. So I almost don't have to use a body butter or any kind of body lotion after I use this, because it leaves a layer of kind of hydration afterwards. It's brilliant. So you've got your oat, shea butter and sugar body smoother in there. So yes, it's like bananas and almonds and honey scent. It literally is like a bowl of granola in a scrub. It's just fantastic, and anyone that is asking for a body scrub, this is the one I recommend, because not only is it cheap, it's Soap and Glory, and it works, and you will just not get enough of this scent, and you'll want to use it all the time. And I wish they'd bring out something similar to use in the shower. It'd be fantastic. Speaking of body lotion, if you are going to go for one, I have picked, and it is my last Origins product of 2013, it's the Gloomaway Grapefruit Body Souffle. Now, I don't think you can go too wrong with picking a body lotion product. They're all fairly similar, they all do a pretty good job. I think it just comes down to what fragrances you like and the kind of texture that you like. I quite like that this is very thin. It just massages in really nicely. It doesn't take me forever to dry off afterwards. So I will probably be maybe not repurchasing this one, but maybe a similar one with the same kind of texture. But if we are going to talk about fragrance, you can't get any more fresh than grapefruit. I swear, it feels so revitalizing. It's fantastic. I smell amazing after I've put this on. Like I say, it goes in instantly, and it lasts. The smell lasts for absolute hours afterwards. So this is my favourite body lotion. And after you've done your body, sometimes it's really good to do your hands as well. I know you've been kind of using the body lotion, but I think it's not quite the right ingredients for your hands. I mean, it will work, but it's not the best. Or even if you're just out and about, with a hand cream, it is vital. And I've chosen the Body Shop Absinthe Purifying Hand Cream. The packaging looks ridiculous now, but I kind of like when it gets like this because it proves that you've got a lot of love for this little guy. It moisturises, conceals odour and leaves hands feeling fresh with absinthe extract and community fair trade shea butter. It's for all skin types, but I believe that this is fantastic for me with my horrible dry skin that's all over my body, but for my hands especially. It smells so fresh. I mean, I wasn't completely sold on the fact that it was absinthe the first time, but as soon as you smell it, you just go, okay, I need everything absinthe fragranced in the entire world. It's amazing. I don't know whether it's the absinthe that helps make this stuff do its job or whether it's just the shea butter, but it's a fantastic little product. To be honest, you can't go wrong with any of the Body Shop hand creams. I'm taken to probably investing in a few more while the sales are still on. Well, thanks for listening to my skincare 2013 edit and all my ramblings in between. I hope you didn't fall asleep because I know these have been very long. If you haven't already checked out my cosmetic edit for 2013, why don't you pop along and see that too, because that would be fantastic. If you enjoyed this video though, can you give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment as well. I like to read comments, I like to respond to comments, and I hope you have a fantastic 2014, and hopefully I'll see you guys again next year for the same thing. But I hope to see you before then and watch my other videos, because I'm going to be on top of the YouTube game this year and I hope you can join me for that. See ya.